So is real estate really the best passive income for you? Well, here's what we're going to talk about today is not just is it the best passive income, but what are the best passive income sources that you can get right now. I'm going to share that in this video today. Is passive income really the best investment for you? How do you know? Like, what are the best real estate investments, for one? And then two, is there a better passive income source than even doing real estate? Let's talk about some experiences because I've done a lot of this myself in my own life. I'm going to share some of my own experiences of what worked for me and what might work for you as well. All right, so as a disclaimer, as we're starting this video, one, I'm not giving investment advice, right? I am definitely not giving you any investment advice. I will also tell you this for those regulators out there. Yes, you can lose all your money doing this kind of stuff and you can be dumb, you could try to be smart about it, and it doesn't matter either way, there's always risk. And anybody who tells you otherwise is lying to your face and trying to sell you crap. So be aware of that. All right, so now all the disclaimers out of place, let's talk about like passive real estate income. Is it really the best source of income for you? Now I'll tell you from my own personal experience, over the years, I've done a lot of different things. Over 20 years ago, I started as a financial advisor, never doing anything with passive income. It was all about accumulating and saving money and set it and forget it forever into mutual funds. And then hopefully someday I can live off that less than the interest so that I never run out of money before I'm dead. You know, those kind of things like, only pull off 3% a year. It's like, yes, I saved $2 million to live on $5,000 a month. And then I pay taxes on that, right? All that kind of crap. That's the kind of stuff I started out teaching. But then I got into like stock trading and options trading. And I even became a stock and options coach. And it's amazing because as I started to do that, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I can make money from my computer. I don't have to actively work. I can sit in front of my screen, maybe open up for a half hour or an hour a day, be able to make trades, do stuff, walk away and leave, come back at the end of the day, deal with stuff, So I'm not like locked into a desk or anything forever. But I realized that wasn't truly passive either, even when I was doing all these stocks and options trades. And by the way, I even know this because even a guy that was selling people options programs, like option trading programs, came to me several years ago and said, Chris, I want passive income and I'm not finding it in the stock market. He's like, I'm doing options trading, I'm teaching all these great strategies, and yeah, I've made money, but I still have to sit in front of my computer. How do I not have to be in front of my computer all the time? How do I not have to need internet every single day? Well, how can I unplug even if I want to unplug? Well, let's keep going through the different alternatives. So we know that stocks and options can be leveraged, good income, but it's not passive at all. It's very, very active. Now, we come to other things. How about business? There's a lot of people talk about passive income in business too. We talk about like e-commerce, right? Direct sales or marketing and things of that nature. And we get all these kind of business ideas. And I'll tell you, business is one of my favorite places to make money. But I'm also here to tell you, it's not passive either. In business, like so often, business usually requires creating something, whether it's creating a system, creating a tool, creating a product, creating whatever it might be, creating relationships even, and then you can start to create what I call residual income. Residual income is income that can come to you each and every month without you having to actively always working on it. But as a warning, once again, when it comes to business as well, don't think you can just do nothing. Right? Those people that tell you can just literally sit on a beach and do nothing all day long and make money are really kind of full of crap for the most part. I will tell you that from my own personal experience. Even those people that claim that, they're some of the hardest working, longest hour working people I've ever met in my life. And so they sell you the dream, but they can't live it themselves. It's like, I love Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. Great book, great concept. But if you go look at Tim Ferriss's life, he's not living a 4-hour work week because he went and created a system and a business that, yes, he can manage and not have to put 40 hours into. But guess what he's doing? He's creating the next business and doing the next thing and doing the next thing. And that's great. If that's what you want to fill your time up doing, awesome. But don't tell people for 1 second, and he doesn't say it's a 0-hour work week, he says 4-hour work week. You still have to put in some effort, some work to get that residual income. I'll tell you one of the best things that I did for residual income was becoming more of a referral source for people. There's a few key companies that, at that stage of my life, I was in my 20s, and so I had a lot of friends that were young married people. And I remember getting the idea because I was a mortgage broker, and one of my friends said, well, do you like doing these mortgages? I said, well, I like teaching about it. I like getting them started on a path, but I hate dealing with all the paperwork along the way to close it. And my friend said to me, he said, well, Chris, why don't you find somebody else who likes doing that kind of thing? And so I did. I went and found someone else. I said, hey, listen, you look like a nerd. Actually, I asked around the office. They said the number one nerd is a guy named Clark, because anyone named Clark, he's got to be a nerd, right? So I went to him. I said, listen, Clark, if I give you these people that are already ready to do a mortgage, would you be willing to split it 50-50 with me on that deal? And he said, well, of course I would. I said, great, these people are going to already be educated, already be ready. They just need to know how to do it. I need you to do the paperwork side. He says, great. If I don't have to go and find people, that's worth 50% to me. And so I would do that. I would spend maybe half an hour or so with that client, talk to them about mortgage options, what they could do with that mortgage, and even invest it to make passive income. And then, of course, I would send them on to Clark. And then Clark would close it, and a month later or so, I would get a check in the mail for like $1,000 or $2,000. And I thought, oh my goodness, that was so much better than trying to walk it through every stage of the process. So it became a referral source. And it wasn't just him. I had friends that were getting married at the time. And so I would say, hey, listen, if you're going to buy an engagement ring, go buy it from this wholesale jeweler over here. That's appointment only. You can only get in with appointment and referral. I'm that referral. Go talk to them. You'll pay a third of the cost you would pay at a normal jewelry store. And so they would do it. They would love me. They're like, that was awesome, Chris. I bought this ring that was normally $10,000 for like $3,000. Thank you so much. And I said, you're welcome. And then also I said, well, thank you, because then all of a sudden that jewelry company would send me like a 5% kickback. So I would get paid like, $60 or something like that from that jeweler as a thank you for sending that referral. Now guys, it didn't take me a whole lot of extra effort. It was just a normal conversation. I would be talking with people and then find out that they had a need or something that they wanted. I'm not that person, obviously. If I'm not the person that offers it, do I know somebody who can get them that, who's a good quality company I could refer them to? I would get paid a referral fee. So yes, in business, you can do that. You can develop products. You can create CDs, videos. You can do online products and things like that that people will pay for. You can even have affiliate partners, people that are referring to you instead, that then will drive there. You might send them the lion's share of your money, but you're still making money without doing much. Now, here's the thing. You still have to actually actively manage the affiliate partnerships, right? You still have to have some management and oversight. But it's so nice to know that you don't have to be the one out there hustling every single day to sell your product or service. So there are so many options in the business world, but just know that's not really truly passive income. But it's a great source of what I call residual income that has to be still actively managed. Now let's get to real estate. Now, someone might ask me, what about Bitcoin, Chris? What about, doing this over here or that? What about this stuff? Online stores and whatnot. Well, online stores, people are finding out every day that these things are not selling up to the hype that they've been. They're finding out it's a lot of hard work and a lot of people are failing doing that. Crypto and digital currencies and things like that, yeah, people can throw money in, but it's not really passive income. It's just like going and investing in gold and silver. People say, well, can I create passive income there? Maybe, but for the most part, no. You're just buying and holding onto something. There's no income coming from it, and that can be dangerous for you because now you're just going up and down with the price waves, and you may not be making any money. By the way, I learned this as a stock trader. You never truly make money until you've bought and sold something. So even though you have this crypto or whatever it might be, you're like, I've got several 100,000 crypto. No, you don't. Until you sell it, you don't have anything, right? It's just a number on a computer screen. Once you sell it, then that money comes back to you is real cash. So just remember that. It doesn't matter if it's stocks, crypto, or whatever, it's all never truly yours until you've done the full transaction of buying and selling it. You've got to sell it and get the cash out for it to truly pay you money. So let's go to real estate. Many people teach about passive income in real estate, won't they? They'll say, hey, you can go and flip properties and do this really easy. You can be a wholesaler, do this. I will tell you, I know these people. I know the people that are even selling it to you, and their businesses do not allow them to spend no hours a week working. They are working usually overtime hours every single week, pitching you this stuff. And yes, again, nothing against it. You can make sick amounts of money. You can make millions and millions of dollars in real estate, but just know you're still working for it. You still have a business that's dealing with real estate. And so to me, that's still active real estate investing. So yes, no problem if you want to do that. But if you're already maxed out because your business, your job is full-time and you want to have at least some time with your family, yes, you do need to realize that's another part-time job at best, sometimes a full-time job in addition to what you're already doing. And so that's where we come to what is passive. I will tell you this, is something really truly ever 100% passive where you can just set it and forget it. Turn your brain off and it will always pay you and you never have to give a second thought about it. The answer is no. I teach a big principle about stewardship, right? Is that you need to be a wise steward of your money. You have to be careful and watch your money. Anything you ignore will leave you, right? If you ignore your teeth, it'll leave you. If you ignore your spouse, they'll leave you, right? If you ignore your money, it'll leave you too. Heck, I think maybe I ignored my hair too often because that's been leaving me as well. I don't know, but those things, whatever you ignore leaves you. But whatever you pay attention to, if you're a wise steward of, can increase and multiply and grow. And so you need to be a wise steward of what you have. A great way to do that when you're doing real estate is, yes, you can do it with leverage, but the best way to do it where you're more hands-off is to have cash, money. You got to have one of two things, either money or time and energy. If you don't use one of those two, you're not going to have it. And so if you don't have money, you got to use time and energy. That's where wholesaling and flipping can be good. But on the flip side, if you've got money and cash, you can be the most passive investor out there. And real estate is one of the best ways to make sure that you not only have passive income, but it's also protected by real assets if you do it right. For example, as I was speaking with a friend just the other day, they have a company that they do what are called notes, right? Notes is just like having a mortgage. If you have a mortgage on your property, it's like that piece of paper, or really a big thick stack of papers that you've got that talks about your mortgage. You can do the same thing. You can become the bank where you lend money to an investor. You can lend money to go on a specific property, and that property is the asset backing it up. So for example, the property's worth $300,000, but you loan them $200,000, but that property's yours. If they fail to pay you, the real estate investor that's doing all the work, if they fail to pay you, that property is yours. You can foreclose on them. It is your property. Now that's the less passive side, right? If you have to actually go through that process. The ideal is that this investor, that obviously they want to get that property because they want to make the money. They want to make that extra $100,000 off of it, not the other way around where you get the money instead. So they're going to do everything they can, their best interest, to make sure they keep that property. They're going to make sure they keep paying you as well. That money pays you passively all the time. When you start dealing with real estate properties, even rentals, I don't like to own my own rentals in the sense that I have to manage my own rentals. I like to own rentals that somebody else manages. And so I'll have a property manager do that. I still have to manage the property manager. I still have to watch them, but it's not like I'm doing it more than once a month. And it's not like I'm spending more than a matter of minutes a week or minutes a month really doing that. So that's a great strategy to use. Can stuff come up that can create little curves and issues? Yes, absolutely. There's always risk, right? There's always things that could go wrong. But it's so much nicer to know that I'm not helpless either, that I have that control of that real estate. And so if you have cash to use, you can use that to go into those investments. I'm in a partnership right now, buying and selling raw land. I do none of the buying and selling of raw land, but we've put in about $450,000 that are now kicking off about $11,000 a month. That's money that's coming in that I did nothing for other than I financed the business partnership. I still had to trust them, and that's the thing you gotta be careful of. If you're now using money to invest to be passive, there's often a degree of separation from that investment. And if there's that degree of separation, you gotta trust that person implicitly, right? And you gotta make sure you're picking the right people to do so. Now, if you're wondering how to pick the right person, I recommend going to moneyripples.com. We got a lot more information, education about how to do that. We even have our own network of people that we use for our own VIP clients, where you could actually have access to the people that we've vetted over the last 10, 15 plus years in doing this myself as well. And so those are the kind of things you can actually be doing. So go to moneyripples.com right now to get more information and learn how you can do this yourself.